The new Flat Rate Podcast.
The new Flat Rate!
For contractors ready to boost tickets, simplify business, and gain freedom. Today, we sat down with Dave Rossberg. He is a business and executive coach for blue-collar CEOs. And now, your host, me, Natalie Koop, and your co-host, Danielle Putnam. Today, we're joined by Dave Rossberg, a Navy submarine veteran and business coach. He specializes in leadership and helping business owners build better and stronger teams. This episode is all about leadership, but first, Dave, I wanted to hear a little bit about you and what it was like serving on a submarine.
Thanks, Natalie. Great to be here and good to see you again, Danielle.
Hey, Dave.
What was it like being on a submarine? Whenever people ask me that question, I always say, the first thing I say is smelly, and everybody always is very surprised. But if you think about it, it's 140 sweaty dudes sealed in a tube with no fresh air. So you can use your imagination as to the types of odors that might be going on there. Since I left, now they have women on the submarine, and they're probably not super happy with the smells, but whatever. Anyway, more relevant than that, what was it like? I mean, it was difficult. It was challenging. It turned me into who I am today as a man, as a leader, as a business owner. And it also instilled in me this just sense of service. Well, I guess I probably had that beforehand, but it amplified it, right? Just being a part of something bigger, having a mission, contributing to something that's making things better for everybody.
You hit on a lot of really great things that we can unpack, especially the mission and being a part of something bigger, so that and serving and helping other people. Back to the smells. Do you ever get used to it?
Eventually.
I mean, right?
But when you leave, your clothing still smells like it. So like I'm walking around my apartment and like walk past my laundry basket and just have flashbacks. Not now, but when I was still active.
Yeah, I'm sure. And in our industry, there's just such a need. It's so important to have fresh air, and even basements. I know it's not the same, but
Yeah.
in an old not stingy, an old smelly basement. What's
Dingy.
what'd you say?
Dingy?
Dingy. Yeah.
Yeah.
An old dingy basement. You walk downstairs and people are like, "Oh, it's moldy." Well, I mean, it could just need fresh air.
Right.
We just need an infusion of fresh air. And so we talk about that a lot in this space, which is kind of cool. Natalie, carry us on. Let's unpack some of this to get into leadership.
Yeah, well, hitting on that, in your time in the Navy, was there a lesson that really shaped you on how you lead today?
I mean, the entire experience was a lesson that shaped me on how I lead today. I don't think I could like boil it down to a sentence, but it's just people, relationships and people, and taking care of them and making sure they know that you're taking care of them, that you care about them. It sounds kind of like fluffy and frou-frou, but it's not hard. I mean, it is hard, but it's simple.
It is hard in leadership in the workplace, like bringing it into the workplace to remember. And people say it all the time. If you take care of your people will take care of your customers.
Absolutely.
If we pour more into our people, but to me, I find that one of the easiest things to forget. It's so easy to be like, "Hey, serve the customer, help them out, call them. Why didn't you call them fast enough? Why are you late getting this order over to them?" Versus, "Are you okay today? Is everything going okay at home?"
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, why is that so hard?
Yeah. When I was in the military, that was a very big part of it. Like, hey, are you okay? What's going on? If somebody was underperforming or there were consistent issues, we would always say, like, what's going on? Is there a deeper issue? Because we're in charge of 18, 19-year-olds out of high school who have nothing to their name. They're alone. They're living in a barracks or on the submarine. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And we're putting them in charge of operating this $2 billion submarine.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just yell at them. A cool $2 billion.
Humble 2 mil.
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah.
With a B. Bill.
Bill.
Yeah. capital B.
Oh, I love Bill.
Yeah. But I mean, it's holistic leadership. And on the other side of the coin, when I was in corporate and we would see issues with people, my instinct was always to continue that sort of holistic leadership. But the people above me, not so much, right? They went straight to the do this, do that. Why are you so bad? Not trying to understand, like, hey, is there something going on here? Like, how can we help you?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a really great point because the minute we move up and in layers, right? We've got layers of leadership and layers of
Hmm.
management in our company, and they're more disassociated with the team and they're looking at the P&L or they're looking at projections and forecasts and they're not seeing the people. I could see that there's definitely a big disconnect there.
Mhm.
Yeah, people are by far your biggest and strongest asset.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you take care of them, they'll take care of your customers. Your customers will take care of your P&L. Your P&L will take care of your investors. So it all starts with your team.
But as like some of us are studies of leadership and we're
Sure.
studying all the time. And it's like, let me just be a better leader. But what does that really even look like? How do you know that you are a better leader? And are people actually following you? Are you becoming a better person? Or
Hmm.
are you just reading a bunch of leadership books and you think that you've made it? Like, leadership is more tangible than that. It's not just let me get all these, check boxes filled
Right.
and then I'm this leader. What does it really look like in the
Yeah.
place today?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. Somebody did a study at some university. I think it was out in Utah. I can't remember the name of the academic person, but the findings were something like 70% of people think that they are above average leaders. And if you think about that for a second, above average is 50%. So there's 20% of those people that think that they're above average that
Mm.
cannot be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So a lot of times leaders are blind to how they are perceived.
Hmm.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. My direct boss, her name is Melody, and I remember when I first started, she didn't like communicate properly, and then she started all of a sudden reading these leadership books because she was like, "Well, now I'm not just a leader of marketing, I'm also a leader of sales." So she
Hmm.
started reading, and I just noticed like this crazy change. Like her communication is so good now. Like we have like such a good wavelength that
Yeah.
we kind of butted heads a little bit, but now, like, I tell her all the time, I appreciate you learning how to lead.
Wow.
So that made me think of that.
Yeah. I mean, communication really is one of the core skills of leadership. If you can't do it well, you're never going to become a better leader, and you're probably not even going to be a good employee if you can't communicate well.
Mm.
It's so important. Um,
Well,
but
that
it's not. Go
70%,
ahead.
that 70% that think they're a better leader than they are. I mean, we got a lot of egos. A lot of
Oh
people that
yeah.
their whole life people have said, "Oh, you're a great leader," because they might be charismatic, they might be
Mhm.
outgoing, extroverted, they
Right.
might like to show off and have a big ego. And so even playing sports as a kid and in group settings and into into the teen years, right?
Hmm.
Everybody in the group is following them because they're the ones that's out in front saying, "Follow me, guys, let's do this, let's do that." And so
Yeah.
then they have this inflated ego of thinking that they're a leader because people did say all their life, "Oh, you're a great leader." And
Hmm.
whether it's in the workplace or in the service or whatever they're doing later on, that doesn't mean that they actually are a leader and they
Yeah.
are, exhibiting leadership traits. And so hence that 70% think that they're a better leader than they are. Of course, and so much of that is ego,
Yeah. I think the higher ego people typically make worse leaders,
right?
Mm,
right? You want somebody who's humble.
yes.
And that's kind of tough though, because I feel like sometimes people want to be perceived as humble, and it's almost like a false humility.
It's like
Right?
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so humble.
yeah, and it kind of drives me crazy when people are like, "Well, I just, want to make sure that I'm not, that I'm being humble," and I'm like, "Yeah, but there's no authenticity there,
Right.
like totally
Exactly.
not." And,
Yeah.
and go ahead.
I was just say, I think the real test of, are you a good or effective leader or not is are your people doing what they're supposed to be doing without your prompting? And are they doing it because they want to do it or because they have to do it?
Did you get that? Let's cut that clip out and use it a lot.
Perfect.
That was really good. And that's for everybody listening today, is this is a really great nugget and a takeaway so that it's a check place of your leadership. Are your people doing what they're supposed to be doing without being told? When they come in, they turn the lights on, they make the coffee pot, they organize the schedule for the day, the technicians, how they park their trucks, keeping them cleaned out, keeping them ready. Are they doing the things that they're supposed to be doing? Are they following your processes to greet the customer, do quality repairs, to follow up with the paperwork, to do happy calls, whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing? Are they looking for lost opportunities in the home? Are they making sure that they report back to the office any findings that could
Mm-hmm.
to future opportunities? Are they doing these things automatically? Do you have to prompt them all the time? And are they doing it because they want to and not begrudgingly? So those are some really great signs that Dave's pointing out here that indicate the leadership level in your company. And it might not just be you, it could also be you might have mid-level management, you might have service managers, you might have other managers. And so these could be indicators so that you could check the pulse on the overall leadership quality within your company. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Great way to operationalize that, Danielle.
That's how I'm viewing it and thinking it, because I'm even thinking in my own company, right? It's like, oh, if people are coming in and doing what they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis because they want to, then that is like a thermometer of
Mm-hmm.
of the leadership in our business.
Yeah.
And I've never thought of it like that, but because you kind of wonder, I've heard people say, well, the quality of your leadership, look behind you, how many people are following you? But then I've also heard, how many leaders have you created? And
Bingo.
yes, and that I believe is a
Bingo.
miss. Too often we're like, hey, who's following me where I'm going? But no, who have we created that is
Yeah.
leading?
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's not about how many people are following you, who's following you. I want followers. I want my followers. I want them to be leaders in their own right.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to charge ahead
Yes.
and carve the path. And all I'm doing is providing guidance.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it should work. They should be leaders.
Well, that kind of perfectly lead it into my next question is how can these business owners start developing stronger leaders in their companies?
So there's a lot to it. I mean, we could spend days and days digging into this, but I think at the most basic level, throughout the organization, what we want to try and do is give decision-making authority to the lowest level possible, because that's where the best information is. Those are the people that are closest to the action. So if you empower them to make decisions on their own, you're getting quicker decisions, you're getting better informed decisions, and they feel some sense of ownership in what the hell they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there a Japanese word for that?
Probably. I have no idea.
Yeah, well, like the assembly line for Toyota. Uh,
Oh, is that Kaizen?
I wanted to
I
say
don't know if that's what that is,
I
but
know, correct us and edit over us, Natalie, if you
yeah.
want to. But yeah, it's pushing the decision making to the front lines. And because in the assembly line, giving the workers on the assembly line the authority and ability to pull the cord,
Hmm.
stop the line,
Yeah.
was a really, really big deal and turning point. That's what I think about when I think of that. And it's scary to do because you're relinquishing control, but we can also do it with parameters. So let's say
Yeah.
a credit for a customer or, things like that, especially when it comes to finances. It's often
Hmm.
difficult to let go and relinquish control because, well, what if it costs me a bunch of money? It might, but putting up safeguards, so allowing everybody on your team to make decisions and the best decision that they can. Let's say somebody's installing some equipment and they're in the trenches and they're covered in mud and oh, we can't put it here, it's got to go somewhere else, right? Like, they are on the front lines, they should be able to make decisions but have parameters of, as long as it is XYZ, then yes, go ahead. If it is not,
Hmm.
then call your install manager for approval, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see this book behind me. turn the
Turn the
ship
ship
around.
around.
So it's written by a Navy submarine captain. Um, the principles that he talks about in the book have been in the Navy submarine force for years and years and years. He was sort of the first one to put it all together in a package and present it as a business framework. But the general principle is there's three kind of pieces, right? Competence, clarity, and control. And so you ensure competence in your people, and that starts with hiring the right people,
Mhm.
to teaching and training, onboarding, continuous training, all of that. Provide clarity. Those are those sort of guardrails that you're talking about, right? Overarching, like, hey, here are our business core values, to like these are sort of the more specific parameters around certain types of decisions, holding people accountable to those and measuring performance. So like what are your metrics? What are your KPIs to judge how well you're doing your job? And revisit how well you're like measuring up against the KPIs and the core values, and doing that on a recurring basis and constantly providing feedback. And then that last part is control, and that takes trust, which once you've done the first two, now you can start to develop some trust. But you give them control and authority to do what you're paying them to do. Right? The whole point of a team, of building a business, is you find people that are better at what they do than you are and get the hell out of their way.
Yeah. I feel like
It's
leadership.
not hard.
Yeah. Building a team. Are there any activities that you recall? Maybe not like an activity, not like an icebreaker, but being a
Trust falls.
Marine. Say it again. Trust fall. You do that a lot.
No, not at all.
But that's a good one we could all do here too, right? But
Yeah.
being a submarine, I can only imagine the how bonded you guys were as a team. And so
Hmm.
then to get out of that and to look back and be like, wow, that was a moment that we shared. And in the workplace today, I do find it difficult. We've got some hybrids, some techs drive directly to the job site. They don't ever go into the office. To
Hmm.
keep that, to create the team synergy, the bond, where this is the shared moment in time together,
Hmm.
when so many people are working in different locations and job sites. It's not just in our industry, it's in all industries right now.
Yeah.
Finding it a struggle to create team unity. Is there anything that you could reflect back on that
I
helped?
mean, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Speaking about the submarine service, we've got decades and decades of culture and tradition and heritage to fall back on.
Mhm.
So everybody who steps onto the boat, the submarine, we speak the same language instantly. So it's not hard, but
Mhm.
that is hard to replicate.
Yeah.
And so when you're thinking about corporate, especially with hybrid work models, you almost have to go out of your way sometimes to force these moments
Mhm.
and build this cohesive culture. But going back to what I said earlier, it starts at day zero with who you're hiring, who you're putting on the team.
Mhm.
So your culture is, it's not words you put on the wall. Your culture is the summation of every single person who makes up your business, their personalities,
Mhm.
right? You can't create a culture. It just happens. The only way you can affect
Sure.
it is by bringing certain people in, and potentially letting certain people go.
Yeah, and protecting it
Yeah.
for sure. I like how you said you guys all started with the same language. And that's really important to remember. That's something that we can all affect change in our own businesses
Yeah.
and our own teams is the language that we speak. There was an exercise done. Oh, it was Brisbane, University of Brisbane, Australia, years ago. I'm going to botch it a little bit, but it's above the line or below the line, essentially.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
that.
I'm very familiar with this. Yeah.
Okay, well then you talk about it and tell it real quick because part of
Victor
the
victim.
same language, yeah, victim mentality, right? It's like we
Yeah.
speak at this company positively. We are not victims. We are optimistic. We are this. We are
Yeah.
that. And there's two kinds of people in the world. There's above the line or below the line.
Yep.
You probably remember the story better than I do.
Yeah, I mean, so we call it the victor victim model. So you've got your victors who are above the line, your victims who are below the line. Uh, I can't remember the descriptors, but just like you said, right? And when I teach this, I draw like a picture with like a superhero on top and then a sad looking person on the bottom, and then there's that line in the middle. And the whole mindset is, you just said it, you're not a victim, you're a victor.
Yes.
So be a victor, think about things positively, have a growth mindset, don't
Mhm.
be negative. And the way to sort of implement this and exercise it is, we all obviously we want to be above the line all the time, but that's not realistic. We're all humans. Okay. And so we all start with the kind of entering argument that, like, hey, sometimes I might be below the line, and I give everybody permission to remind me when I'm below the line and say, hey, like, why don't we get back above the line?
Yep.
And it's gimmicky, but it can be really powerful.
Well, but it also reminds people, oh yeah, this culture, this is the language that we speak. We live above
Hmm.
the line. And so that's a tool that can
Yeah.
be helpful in, well, are we acting below the line? Because that's not who we are. And so having that same language, anytime you invite anybody into the team, it's, kind of showing them, hey, this is how we speak here. This is how we encourage people here. These are our core values. These are, it's not our rule sets. I was talking to a team member earlier today, and she's like, well, in our playbook, our process manual, it says, everybody needs to put the cups in the sink and in the dishwasher every day, and like all the nitpicky things. No, we don't need the nitpicky, where do the coffee cups go in the work?
Right.
We don't need
Right.
that. Instead, we need we choose to leave a place better than we found it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the language that we want to speak at our company, is that we leave a place better than we found it. And so instilling that in so that everybody knows and everybody can repeat it and act upon it, is a way to bring that leadership in. It takes a minute. It takes a minute to get that team, but then when you
Hmm.
have that team, the team protects the team.
Yes, absolutely. There's another saying, I forget who said this, but like when you talk about people and how they perform, you've got like A players, B players, C players. And so the saying is that A players like to work with A players, but B players like to work with C players.
Huh.
So like really high performers love working with other really high performers. People that are like meh like working with people who they are better than.
I get that.
So if you have like B players,
Mhm.
they're going to bring on C players because they want to be above.
Yeah,
Mm.
I could see that.
Well, Dave, I want to get into your big secret. You turned around one of the poorest performing teams on your submarine. How did you do it?
Getting involved, showing them that I gave a shit.
Mm-hmm.
This team had some leaders, some small team leaders that were um, good people, but just not the strongest leaders. And it had been a minute since they'd had somebody who really got their hands dirty and showed that they cared. And so it was, being with them in their workspace every day, learning their jobs, working with them, helping them, supporting them, and giving them the benefit of my knowledge. Hey, maybe we can try and do things a little better this way, or have you thought about it that way?
Hmm.
And so over maybe 6 or 8 months, I completely turned that group around. They were below average on our like normal assessment. That's once a year for nuclear regulations. And then after, not after I got done with them, but after working with them for 6 or 8 months or so, they were like top 10% in the fleet. But it was those principles that I talked about, right? Competence, clarity, control. They were the subject matter experts, so I knew they were competent. So I gave them sort of guidelines. Here's how I expect things to be done, and I'm going to help you get there if you're having trouble, or if there's questions, let's address them. And then, like I said, get out of their way because they're better at that specific thing than I am.
6 to 8 months. Did you feel like along that time? Oh, I like that it took a minute. It wasn't overnight. I mean, that's
No,
pretty quick, ultimately.
well, it was because it was a deployment, so we were together literally 24/7 on the submarine. Had it not been that, had it been somewhere else or in a different kind of setting, that kind of transformation probably would have taken a year or two. But because we were together literally 24/7 for 6 months, we were able to make things move a little quicker.
Do you remember any moments where you're like, okay, we're never going to get there. This is hard. Or was it encouraging? Were you saying, okay, wait a minute, we're going to turn this ship?
So the broader context was I came back, so I got sent away from the submarine to do advanced qualifications for engineering. And when I came back, I was supposed to take over a different group that would have been a little bit more smooth sailing, shall we say. But this team had issues, and my captain sat me down and said, "Hey, Dave, I know you've heard about the issues with this group. I think they need a new leader, and I think you're the guy." And I was not thrilled. He gave me a choice. He says he gave me a choice. I don't know if it was really a choice or not, but I ended up taking on the challenge, and I leveraged his experience, and he had a wealth of experience as being a submarine captain, to help me turn them around. But I mean, day one, looking at where they were, I was like, how are we going to do this? And I had seen some of the issues, from outside, and I'm like, man, they're struggling. What's going on there? It wasn't all pretty. I specifically remembered getting into a shouting match with somebody. But that happens when you're passionate and you have disagreements in how things are supposed to happen. But we worked through it and came out way better than anybody thought.
That's awesome. I love when that happens. So in the shouting match moments, like nobody was leaving, right?
No, we're literally sealed in a submarine. There's nowhere for anybody to go. I'm like, I know where you sleep, literally.
Literally.
But that's part of the beauty of humanity. I have 4 kids and they fight all the time. And most of the time I'm just like, work it out. And I just walk away.
Yeah.
Work it out. Well, make them stop. I can't make them stop.
Yeah. You can't make anybody do anything.
Yeah. So we gotta work through that. And I think in teams and leadership, it's really important to realize that after that, say you guys have a shouting match moment, and there might have been some hatred feelings at the moment too. But at the end of the 6 to 8 months, was there a lot of love?
There was a lot of pride. I don't know about love, but pride.
Yeah, pride in the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And pride in the work. That's good.
Yeah.
That because we have to work through it and everybody grows.
Yeah.
Dave, I know you have some experience in construction. How did you go from being underwater in a submarine to going into the dirt in construction, living the blue collar life?
Excellent question, Natalie. Thanks for asking that. So I grew up in the construction industry. My dad's been in construction his whole life, my whole life. My grandfather was in construction, so it's in my blood. When I left the Navy, I took a few different paths. Got my MBA from Columbia, worked in corporate consulting, worked at a startup for a little bit. Then when COVID hit, I decided slightly before that I wanted to work for myself and be off on my own. Great timing to do that also, by the way. But when push came to shove in like February, March 2020, what the hell am I going to do? The one thing that I knew I could fall back on was construction, because I knew the industry. I spoke the language. I've got a couple of engineering degrees. So within the span of a couple months and with no prep or no investment, I started doing general contracting for the federal government. So I was bidding on projects at different sort of federal facilities around the Northeast, and hiring the trades and the contractors to do the work, and then serving as the GC and the project manager. So did that for a few years until I got bored of it.
Slingshotted, completely different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, after I say I got bored of it, right? I realized that being a project manager, which is essentially what I was doing in such a small operation, was not what I wanted to get out of bed in the morning for. And so I mentioned that my dad's in construction. The whole time he was trying to get me to come work for him, which I was not entertaining at all. Finally, I was ready. So I went to him and said, here are my two conditions, or here's my, I don't remember exactly what I said. I said, I'm working with you, not for you, and I'm not doing any construction or any project management.
Okay.
And he looks at me like I got three heads. What the hell are you going to do for me, Dave? And so being the sort of, oldest child, smug little bastard that I am, I said, I'm going to help you run your business better, Dad.
Okay.
And he's like, I can see the gears turning. He's got smoke coming out of his ears. Like, all right, let's see what you got, Mr. Fancy MBA.
Uh-huh.
So he's now challenging me because I think he knows, he's by far the expert at construction. He's been doing it forever. But he realized that, hey, maybe Dave knows some stuff that I don't.
Okay.
And so I helped him with a lot of stuff. Um, we did a lot of good things in the beginning during the sort of like honeymoon phase. But he's really stubborn, and the apple didn't fall that far from the tree. So it was not meant to be for the long term. But that experience helping him in his construction business is what turned me on to coaching and helping other tradesmen and contractors do similar things.
That's really good. One thing that I have found is in home services, often many of us were born and bred in the industry, just like you,
Mhm.
right? And we're born and bred. And so working with family, if a family member leaves the industry for a while and gets experience working on other teams for other companies in or out of the industry and then comes back working with the family, it's almost like bringing on a colleague, another coworker, or another team member. It almost removes, it's like a layer away from family a little bit. And so
Mhm.
I've seen some really great, beautiful things happening in business. The respect level changes a little bit. It's not just like, oh, that's my son who, was always on the job site growing up and,
Right.
whatever. Instead, no, oh wow, like we're choosing to add you to the team because of what you bring to the table. It's not just, oh, that's just the boss's son. There's no
Right.
trust in that equation. So I think that leaving for a while and coming back can be a really beautiful thing. Now, that's not the case for everybody, but I've seen that be really, really awesome.
Yeah, I think that is a great
Couple
way to do
changes.
it. If
Mhm.
if if you can, I think that's a great way to do it because that person who's coming back brings a totally new skill set and perspective that you never had and that they never would have had if they stayed internal.
Yeah, it just helps us to continue to sharpen the irons and um so that is neat. And then you guys worked together for a season and then you moved on to other things, and are you guys friends today?
Me and my dad, we still have a great relationship. Um, we don't talk business as much, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, there's other things to talk about.
Still
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Still good on Thanksgiving, Natalie says.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what one of my mentors always says, Danielle, you got to see him at Thanksgiving. So just let it go.
Very true.
Well, Dave, where can everyone find you? What links can we give?
I'm all over the internet. If you just Google me, davidrossberg.com is probably the easiest. I think Dave Rossberg will redirect over. That'll take you to my coaching website. I'm also on LinkedIn. I've got a blog that's also in there somewhere. I don't know if you want to flash the links on the screen. I'll send you them later, but I don't have anything that's easy to spell out verbally, unfortunately.
I got you. I got your links. I got everything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if
Perfect.
anybody is interested in coaching with Dave, definitely reach out. Um, and Natalie's going to share all the information about his business too.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
reach out if you're feeling stuck, with your team, you're not sure what to do to get them off to whether it's off this ledge up to the next level, off the plateau, I call it sometimes, or you just need encouragement, reach out to Dave. And I'm sure you'll be very glad that you did.
absolutely.
Well, it's been a blast. We really appreciate having you on the show, Dave. Thank you for the value that you have brought. Thanks for talking to us about leadership and kind of a little bit more a glimpse into what goes on in a submarine. I was telling Natalie earlier, I read a book every single night to my 5-year-old son every night. Get the fish book, get the fish book. It's called The Mechanical Fish.
I love it.
Well, it's a playoff. It's not necessarily the first submarine, but it's stories based on in Lake Michigan, this man that was trying to create a submarine, and he was using a stick through the bottom of his little contraption he was in, pushing off the ocean floor to get it. Lake Michigan, the floor,
Yeah.
right? And by the end of the book, he actually has a pod that his family gets in, and that piece is a true story. And he took them down underwater for an afternoon, and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, it is really cool. And so appreciate you giving us a little bit more glimpse into what a day in a life was like.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me. And I love what you guys are doing at New Flat Rate. Great, great resource for all kinds of tradesmen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning into the New Flat Rate podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Natalie. Thanks, Danielle.
If you want to learn more about the New Flat Rate, go to thenewflatrate.com. If you want to learn more about Dave Rossberg or to start now with a business growth assessment, go to daverossberg.focalpointcoaching.com.